Good day, and welcome to this extended edition of the World Top News, bringing you a comprehensive overview of the most significant developments shaping our world today, as nations confront political uncertainty, conflict, economic pressure, environmental challenges, and rapid technological change. We begin in the Middle East, where tensions remain dangerously high as relations between the United States and Iran continue to deteriorate amid disputes over Iran's nuclear program, regional influence, and ongoing sanctions. American officials have reiterated that Iran must comply fully with international nuclear agreements, while Iranian leaders accuse Western powers of hypocrisy and interference, insisting their nuclear ambitions are peaceful. This diplomatic standoff has reverberated across global markets, particularly energy sectors, as investors fear disruptions to oil supplies passing through key maritime routes. Regional allies are urging restraint, warning that even a limited military confrontation could have devastating consequences across the Middle East, where conflicts already strain fragile political systems and humanitarian conditions. As diplomatic channels struggle to gain traction, civilians across the region watch anxiously, aware that escalating rhetoric often precedes real-world consequences. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, fighting in Gaza has intensified once again, with reports of airstrikes and ground operations resulting in significant civilian casualties. Hospitals are overwhelmed, medical supplies are scarce, and humanitarian agencies warn of a deepening crisis as access to aid remains restricted. International leaders have issued renewed calls for restraint, urging all parties to protect civilians and engage in meaningful dialogue, yet ceasefire negotiations remain fragile amid deep mistrust. The conflict continues to inflame regional tensions and provoke global protests, reflecting the enduring emotional and political weight of the issue worldwide. Turning to Eastern Europe, the war in Ukraine continues into another grueling chapter, with intense fighting reported along multiple front lines as both Russian and Ukrainian forces attempt to gain territorial and strategic advantage. Artillery exchanges, missile strikes, and drone attacks have become a daily reality, leaving cities scarred and infrastructure severely damaged. Millions of Ukrainians faced prolonged power outages, shortages of heating fuel, and disrupted access to clean water, particularly as harsh winter conditions compound the suffering. Humanitarian organizations warn that the prolonged conflict risks creating a generation marked by displacement and trauma, while international donors struggle to maintain consistent support amid donor fatigue and competing global crises. Despite the ongoing violence, quiet diplomatic efforts persist, focusing on humanitarian corridors, prisoner exchanges, and confidence-building measures, though prospects for a comprehensive peace settlement remain distant. In a major diplomatic development, the European Union has formally designated Iran's Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization, a move expected to reshape relations between Europe and Tehran. Supporters of the decision argue it sends a clear message against activities they view as destabilizing, while critics warn it could further entrench divisions and reduce opportunities for dialogue. The designation may lead to expanded sanctions, legal challenges, and retaliatory measures, adding another layer of complexity to an already volatile geopolitical landscape. In the United States, political uncertainty continues as lawmakers struggle to finalize a federal budget, raising the possibility of a partial government shutdown. Federal agencies are preparing contingency plans, while public sector workers face uncertainty over pay and job security. Economists caution that even short shutdowns can disrupt economic growth, delay services, and undermine public confidence in governance. The standoff reflects deeper divisions within American politics, where compromise has become increasingly difficult amid ideological polarization. Turning to global economic trends, inflation remains a pressing concern in many countries, as rising food, fuel, and housing costs strain household budgets. Central banks continue to balance interest rate policies aimed at curbing inflation while avoiding recession, a delicate task complicated by supply chain disruptions, geopolitical instability, and climate-related shocks. Developing nations face particular challenges, as debt burdens grow and access to financing tightens, raising fears of widening inequality between rich and poor countries. International financial institutions have called for coordinated action, warning that fragmented responses could prolong economic pain worldwide. Climate change remains a defining issue of our time, with extreme weather events occurring with increasing frequency and intensity. From devastating floods and wildfires to prolonged droughts and heat waves, communities across continents are grappling with the immediate and long-term impacts of a warming planet. Scientists warn that without rapid reductions in greenhouse gas emissions, these events will become more severe, threatening food security, biodiversity, and human health. Governments face mounting pressure to translate climate commitments into concrete action, even as economic and political constraints complicate decision-making. In Africa, several nations are navigating political transitions, security challenges, and economic reform efforts. Elections in some countries have been met with optimism, while others face unrest driven by contested results, governance concerns, and public frustration over living conditions. Regional organizations and international partners continue to emphasize dialogue and peaceful resolution, recognizing that stability is essential for development and regional cooperation. In East Asia, tensions persist around the Korean Peninsula, where missile tests and military exercises have heightened concerns about miscalculation. Diplomatic efforts remain stalled, though neighboring countries continue to advocate for de-escalation and dialogue. At the same time, economic competition and technological rivalry between major powers shape regional dynamics, influencing trade, security, and innovation. In the realm of technology, artificial intelligence continues to advance rapidly, transforming industries from healthcare and finance to education and media. While proponents highlight efficiency and innovation, critics warn of ethical concerns, job displacement, and the potential misuse of powerful tools. Governments and international bodies are increasingly debating regulation, seeking to balance innovation with safeguards to protect society. Cybersecurity threats also remain a major concern, as attacks on critical infrastructure, businesses, and public institutions grow more sophisticated and frequent. In science and exploration, global attention has turned once again to space, as preparations move forward for new crewed missions to the moon and beyond. Scientists view these efforts as stepping stones toward deeper exploration of the solar system, while also emphasizing the technological and scientific benefits that space research brings to life on Earth. Meanwhile, breakthroughs in medical research offer hope in the fight against diseases, even as healthcare systems worldwide grapple with staffing shortages, funding pressures, and the lingering effects of past pandemics. Culturally, the world continues to reflect on the role of art, music, film, and literature in shaping identity and fostering connection across borders. Global audiences mourn the loss of influential figures while celebrating new voices that challenge conventions and tell diverse stories. Social movements advocating for equality, justice, and human rights continue to gain momentum, amplified by digital platforms that connect people across continents. Yet these same platforms also fuel misinformation and division, prompting renewed calls for media literacy and responsible communication. As we bring this extended report to a close, it is clear that the world stands at a crossroads, facing complex challenges that transcend borders and demand collective solutions. From geopolitical tensions and economic uncertainty to climate change and technological transformation, the choices made today will shape the future for generations to come. Staying informed, engaged, and committed to dialogue remains essential as humanity navigates an increasingly interconnected and rapidly changing global landscape.